Hello guys, this video is aimed at those students who are in year 7, 8, that sort of area, possibly 9. Those of you who are starting to get into spreadsheets, so maybe even like those of you who are trying it out in primary school, that's cool. This is like the basic video. Like if you've done spreadsheets before, this is still great to watch as a refresher course. It's going to focus on the absolute essential things that you need to know about spreadsheets. So let's get into it. The first thing you need to know about spreadsheets, and I'm going to write the key words as we go along. The first thing you want to know about spreadsheets is that they are basically a giant calculator. They use formulas to help us calculate an answer. Okay, so we're just doing some keywords here. So we're going to calculate an answer. Now, all spreadsheets start off with an equals symbol, and then they use cell references. Let's get the spelling right. Cell references. There we go. They use cell references and what we call an operator. So that includes the addition sign, the subtraction sign, the divide sign, which is actually a / on a computer, and a multiplication sign, which is an asterisk. Now, I strongly recommend if you've got a keyboard with the numpad, which is usually on the right hand side of the keyboard, use that because you've got all the right symbols there, you've got all the numbers there. It's the best place to put your hand when you're using spreadsheets. Fantastic. You know, really get used to using that. Try and avoid using that top row on the keyboard above all the letters. It's slower. You've got all the right controls on the right hand side on that numpad. Okay, so let's look at these keywords and see how they relate to the spreadsheet. So the first thing we're going to do, we've got here a spreadsheet which contains some test scores for 5 students. We've got Anthony, Beth, Charlie, Deb and Ethan. Now, I want to add up basically the scores that each student got. Now I could do this manually and type it in. So I could say, right, Anthony has got 10 plus 9, which is 19, plus 11, which is 30. I could type that in. Now, I could do that for all the students, but what would happen if, say, Anthony redid the second test and scored 2 more? Well, this would have to be manually changed to 32, and I don't want to do that. The point of using spreadsheets is that it will do it for us. So let's see what actually happens. Let's reset that back and then take a look. So all formulas start off with an equals symbol. Remember the keywords? We've got equals. I'm going to select the first cell reference with the first score in, which is B2. I'm then going to use an operator. In this case, I want to add up the numbers, so I'm going to use the addition symbol, and then add up each score using the correct cell reference. When I'm done, I press enter. Remember that score of 30? Remember Anthony retook the test and scored 11? Well, if I type in 11 now, the score changes to 32. Fantastic. It's done the work for us. That's what spreadsheets are about. Let's take a look at that again. Equals the first cell reference plus the next cell reference plus the next cell reference. Press enter when done. There we go. We've got 30. Let's do it one more time. Equals the first cell reference plus the next cell reference plus the next cell reference. Okay, 21. Right, let's take a look at that. We've got, if you look at these formulas up here, we've got B2, C2, D2, B3, C3, D3, B4, C4, D4. They go up in order. If I highlight those things and then drag down using this little symbol here, you'll notice that my mouse changes to a thinner cross. When it does that, I can drag it down and it automatically changes the reference for me. So now I've got from B4, C4, D4, B5, C5, D5, B6, C6, D6. It's done it for me. All right, now let's add up the totals for the whole of test 1. Okay, equals the first cell reference plus the next 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 one. Press enter. There we go, we've got 41. Do that one more time and then we'll try the shortcut. The first cell reference, the next cell reference, followed by the next one, and the next one. Okay, let's do the shortcut. Let's drag it across. It's worked beautifully for me. Now let's take a look at the average. Averages are worked out by adding up the total and then dividing by the number of, well, in this case, it's the students. So we've got 5. So I'm going to do the first way, which is the slow way, equals the first score plus the next score plus the next score plus the next score plus the next score. Close my brackets because I want to work that bit out first. Think of maths and Bodmas. Divided by 5. Okay. Now, I had to do a very long formula. But the nice thing about this is I could drag it across and it works it out for me. Brilliant. But I want to see the more efficient thing, the more efficient way of doing this. We've already worked out the total. Here is 41. So let's use that number in that cell. So I'm going to do equals that cell, B7, divided by 5. It's giving me exactly the same answer. Let's take a look at that again. Equals that cell, in this case it's C7, the total, divided by 5. Okay, once I've done that, I can just drag it across. And we're good to go. One last thing I'm going to show you. Highlight the data. Use these tools up here, increase decimal, decrease decimal. If I want to decrease decimal, it removes a decimal and it rounds up. If I want to increase the number of decimals, use the increase decimals. I'm quite happy with 1 decimal place, so I'm just going to use decrease again and leave it as 1 decimal place. So to summarize, we have a spreadsheet. Spreadsheets are like giant calculators. They use formulas to help us calculate the answer. All formulas start off with an equals. They use cell references, and then you can use an operator such as addition, subtraction, the / for divide, and you've got the asterisk for multiplication. Remember to use the numbers by the numpad, as it is the best place to put your hand when using spreadsheets. It's the most efficient. We're going to be doing some 4 different kind of functions that are built in, which help us improve the efficiency of writing our formulas. Alright, so just to summarize the keywords again, we've got a spreadsheet. This is the spreadsheet, and we're on a particular worksheet here. That's another keyword, worksheet. Last video we were on the basics formulas worksheet, and now I'm on the advanced formulas worksheet. Okay, so the worksheet. Alright, that's another word. All formulas start with an equals. We use formulas to help us calculate an answer. They use cell references and an operator, and I recommended that you use the numpad. The numpad is, again, on the right-hand side of your keyboard. Try and get used to using it. A lot of my students like using the top row of the keyboard. Avoid it. It's slow. Alright, so I've got 2 teams now. We've got Team 1 with Anthony, Beth, Charlie, Deb and Ethan, and Team 2, Franklin, George, Harlem, Isabel and Julie. Now, what I want to know is which team scored the most, which player scored the maximum number, the highest number, which student scored the lowest score, and what was the average score for each team. So if you remember last time I used a cell reference, so that was equals, and then I had to click on each one. Now imagine I had a whole class of students. It would take me ages to do that. So there's a shortcut. I can use this auto sum feature, or I can just simply go equals. Remember, all formulas start with an equals. Type sum, open my brackets, and then highlight all the numbers I want to add up. Close my brackets. There we go. That easy. I'll show you again. You do equals, sum, highlight them all, close my brackets, and I'm done. The alternative is to use this auto sum feature. So if I click on auto sum, it highlights the data for me, puts in the correct function in there. Remember, sum is used to add up numbers in a range. Okay, there's another keyword for you there, range. This is my range of data. There's another keyword, data, range of data. All right, so let's do the same thing for max. Now, if I want to find the highest number, I can use the function max. So I'm going to go equals max, and then highlight the range of data I want, close my brackets, and I'm good to go. So the highest number was 12. If we scan down here, yes it was. Deb scored 12. Let's look at this one, equals max, highlight the data, close my brackets, and there we go. The maximum score, the highest score was 13, and Isabel scored 13. I can see that from there. Let's do the same thing for the smallest number. For the smallest, we use min, equals min, highlight the range of data, and close the brackets. The lowest score was 6, and yes it was, Charlie scored 6. Let's do this again, sum, highlight the data, oops, I did sum. Why did I do sum? Should have been min. Min, highlight the range of data, and I got 7. Next one, equals. This time we're looking for the average. So rather than adding up the total and dividing, I'm going to do average, highlight the data, the range of data. There we've got average, 9.4. Let's do it again, equals average, highlight the range of data, close it off, average, 9.2. And that's it. We used inbuilt functions to help us. We used sum to work out the total. We used max to find the highest number. within a range of data. We use min to find the smallest number within a range of data. And we use average to find the average score from a range of data. Sum for total, max for the highest, min for the lowest, and average for the average. And that's it for this video.